It's been growing 200% a year every year for the past 11 years, and you're only going to have 30 years of your life in business. So how long are you going to stare at something which is a screaming successful thing in denial? Peter Schiff has been against Bitcoin for 10 years. He'd be a billionaire right now. He'd be a 10 billionaire right now if he had actually not been against it. You would lose, by the way, resisting it, you would lose 98 to 99% of your wealth over 5 years if you're in denial of this thing. So there's a cost to being in denial of stuff. Let me just, again, offer an example. You know, like if you're in an airplane and somebody puts their elbow through a window and it starts depressurizing and the oxygen gets sucked out of the airplane and then the oxygen mask drops down from the compartment above, are you going to stare at it and debate with me for like 2 hours about all the black swans and whether or not the oxygen is safe and whether or not you should breathe the oxygen or whether or not you should not breathe the oxygen? Are you going to put the mask on? Because it's new. You've never used an oxygen mask in an airplane before. If I take you and I drop you in the middle of the ocean and you're 50 feet down with the weight around your neck and I hand you scuba equipment and a regular, are you going to put it in your mouth? Are you going to debate with me and you're going to ask me to twist and try to, what if it's possible that some politician in some country passes some law making it illegal for me to put this regulator in my mouth? It's like, we're really reaching hard here to find a reason to not do the obvious.
Bitcoin has been growing at 200% per year on average for the past 11 years. It has been the best performing benchmark by a mile. How long are you going to sit and watch an asset class that is a screaming successful win? That's the latest message out from Michael Saylor. Recently, Saylor spoke on the importance of holding Bitcoin in a world dominated by rapidly devaluating fiat currencies and economic uncertainty. With governments around the world intervening in traditional financial systems and fiat currencies losing value, Saylor urged individuals to consider Bitcoin as a way to opt out and protect your financial future. Drawing on his deep understanding of finance and technology, Saylor highlighted the fundamental principles behind Bitcoin's resilience, emphasizing its decentralized nature and mathematical integrity. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Saylor reveals why fiat currency is at the end of its cycle and how Bitcoin's price will move upwards exponentially in the coming months. Also guys, if you want to stay most up to date on the Bitcoin world, I send out a daily 5-minute crypto newsletter that covers expo predictions, on-chain data breakdowns, and breaking news, all for free. Click the first link in the description, enter your email, and join over 50,000 others to become a better crypto investor right now. Now here's Michael Saylor with why he's incredibly bullish on Bitcoin.
That is the situation with Bitcoin right now, which is a lot of people are working very hard to come up with some reason why they shouldn't trust a new thing. Meanwhile, it's quite clear that 7.8 billion people on the planet have a problem. Everybody with money on Earth is going to lose half their wealth in the next 48 months if they do nothing. If you're one of the billion people in a collapsing developed economy, you're going to lose everything if you do nothing. The solution is a digital monetary network that doesn't dissipate energy, that you can access, where no one can corrupt it and you can take personal custody of your money, of your monetary energy. Yes, there's uncertainty. For the first time in human history, we invented the thing. It's new, but it's not 1 year new. It's 11 years, 12 years old, and you don't have to put 100%. By the way, when the oxygen mask drops out of the plane and you're traveling with your 10 kids, are you going to put the mask on one kid to see if they live and let the other 9 kids suffocate? Or are you going to put the mask on everybody? Or are you going to put your mask on yourself first? How afraid are you of suffocating versus how afraid are you of using the oxygen? Because Bitcoin is oxygen and it's new. There are some people that are very comfortable in their existence and they think it's okay to ignore it because they're rich and they're comfortable and they're happy. There are some people that dabble in it. Like, I think I'll buy 1 or 2% because I'll speculate in it. And there are some people, like if I put you in Argentina and by the way, do you know the exchange rate in Argentina to the dollar right now?
No,
like,
I know it's inflating tremendously.
It used to be 1 peso to the dollar. And then it slid to 10 pesos to the dollar. And then it slid to 20. Then it slid to 40 pesos to the dollar. Then it slid to 80 pesos to the dollar. The black market rate is 140 pesos to the dollar, and the dollar has lost half of its value in the 10 years. So you've actually lost, what is 1 divided by 280? It's like, if you're living in Argentina and you have any wealth to speak of, you lost 99% of it. Are we going to sit and think about ways that we might, it's hypothetically possible that a politician in Argentina will pass a law requiring that I disclose my Bitcoin or tax it or whatever. But are you going to suffocate your entire family and destroy everything you know based on the hypothetical possibility that someone might object to you choosing to not roll over and die? Because it seems like most of the world would like for us just all roll over and die and shut up and not make a big stink about it. It seems to me that if I come into your house and I start cranking the temperature down until I freeze your children, at some point, maybe you'll have the bravery to open the back door and walk into the backyard and maybe go find a new house. I mean, like, it's just a matter of courage and maturity at some point. And for those people that just want to spread fear and uncertainty and doubt, I mean, like, what's the future for humanity if we're going to live in fear of the solution to the problem that plagues us all? Look, I think we should address the issue of blockchain, which is, first of all, every fiat currency in history has been debased and eventually failed. So if you're going to be an academic or you're going to be a historian, you can't find a single example of sound money everlasting anywhere on earth. No commodity money, no gold money, no silver, no copper, no fiat, no nothing. You can't find a single regime that ever executed a strong money policy for 25 years straight in the history of man. You know, when Satoshi said the problem with fiat currency is all the trust it requires from banks, and they've always betrayed trust, he was just pointing out the obvious. Every bank on earth can print more money with impunity, and every central bank can print more money. It's just an observation. So the idea that you should actually create a monetary system based upon trust a banker or a politician is about as silly a notion as the idea that you should sail a ship across the Atlantic with leaks in it without making sure do you trust the boat to not have leaks in it? Or do you make sure it's leak proof?
Every pilot does a pre-flight, right?
There's no engineering system that functions with a leak. Your swimming pool doesn't. Would you jump into your swimming pool without checking to see if there's water in the swimming pool? Would you actually jump into a swimming pool with a leak in it? Like, the swimming pool won't work, the airplane won't fly, the ship won't sail, the electrical system won't work with a short circuit, the pneumatic system won't work with a leak in it. You know, nothing works in the engineering world if you don't have, integrity and a closed system. And nothing works in math if you just change the number, right? I mean, the point is math is math. So if you want to reject all of math, all of thermodynamics, all of science, the conservation of energy in the universe, then yeah, you can run your society based upon fiat currency with one individual that makes up however much money they want to make up at any given time. But it seems pretty clear that the rest of the universe doesn't work that way. Here's the paradigm shift. They don't realize that we have engineered a monetary system for the first time in human history that actually will work. And they think they're trapped in all of the defective paper, political, and commodity monetary systems of the past. And since none of them work, they resign themselves to living in a world where nothing works and nothing is going to work. And then what happens next is a moral hazard where you have one group of people run to take control of the banks and the printing press to enrich their friends and their pet causes, and another group of people suffer and starve to death, because they don't control the money. And that's the world we live in today. And that's why this is a moral issue. First of all, the dollar is only as old as 1971, right? We've got a fiat currency for 50 years, number one. Number two, it's lost 98% or 90-something% of its purchasing power in those 50 years. So it has power. Look, Julius Caesar had power. Where's he today? I mean, the point is, Babylon had power. The British Empire had power, right? Napoleon had power. Alexander the Great had power. How'd that work out, right? The Carthaginians and the Phoenicians had power. The Venetians had power. The Roman Catholic Church had power. Henry VIII had power, right? I don't dispute the fact that they all had power. Everybody has power over the course of some period of time. And, you know, the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world, and it's undisputable. And once I almost wrote a book all about the supremacy of the dollar. I get it. That's not the point, right? The point is not, is it the reserve currency of the world and do we need to accommodate it? We do. The point is, what will you as an individual choose to use as your technology to avoid starving to death or freezing to death economically? That's the question. The Argentine peso had power, still has power. It doesn't change the fact that if you live in Argentina, you will starve to death and lose your family's life savings every 10 years unless you adopt a new technology, right? Doesn't change that fact.
You worry about
And
that?
so the significance of Bitcoin is it's a technology for you to avoid becoming impoverished, right? If I drop you in the middle of Russia, the ruble will have power, you know, and they will shoot you in the head if you don't use the ruble properly. It doesn't change the question at hand. If you have tuberculosis, you should use penicillin to avoid dying. And if you have a bunch of money in a country where the currency is collapsing, you should use Bitcoin to avoid dying. If I drop you in the middle of the ocean, you should hope you have a ship around you to avoid dying, right? It's just the technology in order to live your life in this particular case. And so what is the core essence of it? Well, the essence of it is the same thing that makes the universe work. The laws of thermodynamics and the conservation of energy, right? What's at the core of Bitcoin is the laws of thermodynamics and the conservation of energy. If I put $1 million of monetary energy into the network in the year 2020, I can go forward 250 years or 50 years or 10 years or whatever amount of time frame you want, and I will have the same amount of monetary energy scaled up perfectly linearly, you know, for the economic growth without any individual stealing it all.
So there's Michael Saylor with his thoughts on Bitcoin being an oxygen mask in a crisis. He's saying we need to see Bitcoin as a way to protect our wealth as everything else loses value over time. His message is clear. In a world full of economic ups and downs, Bitcoin is a lifeline. By embracing it, we're taking control of our financial future and finding a new way to safeguard our wealth. When Saylor talks about Bitcoin, he's not just talking about numbers and technology. He's talking about giving regular people a chance to thrive in an uncertain world, and that's something we can all relate to. Before we go, a quick reminder for those who are keen on staying updated in the fast-paced world of crypto and Bitcoin. Consider subscribing to our daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis trusted by over 50,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Click the first link in the description to join our community and elevate your crypto investment knowledge today. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.